Welcome to New York's #2 sports show. The Rangers defeat the Carolina Hurricanes in double overtime. They win 4-3, and the game-winning goal in overtime is scored by the former Hurricane, Vincent Trocheck, on the power play. So I was actually fortunate enough to be at this game, and I got to say, it was definitely one of the best games I've probably ever been to. And I've been lucky enough. I've been to my fair share of playoff games. But this one definitely ranks up there. Just a great game all the way around. Obviously, my perspective in recapping this game is a little bit different. Having been there, but definitely tried to watch as many highlights as I could. But yeah, it was just an amazing atmosphere. It's really special what's going on with this team right now. Carolina really played a very good game. I mean, they gave it everything that they had, but the Rangers, they've had their number. They just have. And I'm not all that surprised by the results. That said, look, this series could be very different. I mean, if you're a Hurricane fan, you're probably thinking, hey, this could easily be at least split going back to Carolina. But it's good to see the Rangers take advantage of this home ice advantage. And the key is going to be, as I've said a lot previously, and they kind of exercised some of the demons versus the Capitals, but it was a different series, is being up 2-0. That was their downfall against the Lightning and the Devils. I've said it a lot. And I know it's not going to be easy in Carolina. For me, the hope is to split those two games 3 and 4. And to come back home up 3-1 would just be great. And it can be done. It's very achievable. I could see it. Look, I think, they're 6-0, which is incredible, the Rangers, so far in the playoffs. In fact, they haven't lost yet. It's almost too good to be true. But I'm definitely proud of this team. And there's a lot of work to be done. But this is a gutsy win in many ways. So the clear 3 stars of this game, I already mentioned Trocheck, who got the game-winning goal, and actually also drew the we're going to discuss a lot in this episode. He also drew the power play that led to that game-winning goal. Alexis Lafrenière is the other obvious star of this game. He scored 2 goals, and we were waiting for him to score. Look, he had 5 assists. It wasn't as if he was playing poorly at all, but you were still hoping that he would score. And he doesn't score just not only once, but twice. So he looked really good. Besides even those goals, he almost had a hat trick a couple of occasions early in the third period. He almost did. I want to say. Maybe in the first overtime, there was a good chance. And then, of course, Igor Shesterkin, who made 54 saves. He was incredible. And it's interesting. I was also at the triple overtime loss in 2022 versus the Penguins, where Evgeny Malkin got the game-winning goal. And in that game, Igor ended up with 79 or so saves. It was crazy. This one, he ends up with 54. As it ends, I guess, on the earlier side. When was the Trocheck goal? Kind of on the earlier side of the second overtime. Not early. The first half of the 20 of the potential 20-minute session at 7:24 was the Trocheck goal. But yeah, Igor made a lot of really, really big saves along the way, and that's the advantage. Shesterkin over Freddie Anderson. That's played itself out so far. It has. And Freddie Anderson was good too. He really was. This was not a game where I look at it and say, whereas in game 1, that Panarin goal was really bad. This game, I can't fault him much, but no doubt Igor was better than him. So, 3 clear stars in no particular order, but Shesterkin, Trocheck, and Lafrenière for sure. In this game, let's first discuss lineup. And I'm going to go into individuals, as I feel like I've kind of done lately. And I kind of like going about it that way. And then we'll kind of go into the game. But for Carolina, one lineup change where they actually healthy scratched Evgeny Kuznetsov and Maxime Comtois replaced him in the lineup. I don't think Comtois played all that much. Let's see. Yeah, 6 minutes and 19 seconds in a game where there was almost 90 minutes of action. So, yeah, wouldn't be surprised to see Kuznetsov back in the lineup for the Hurricanes, but they did make that one change. Still no Brett Pesce, which we knew about, and so Tony DeAngelo, who actually, DeAngelo wasn't all that bad in this game. I got to say, he was, from my vantage point, I actually thought this was maybe the best game he's played against the in like 2022 and 2024, the postseason. I thought played pretty well. But Rangers, same lineup, and that's not a surprise. At this point, and look, I still think they're going to stick with the same lineup next game. But, Matt Rempe only played 4 minutes and 3 seconds. And, again, this game was almost 90 minutes of game action. So he did not play at all in the third, the first overtime, or the second overtime, and only played 4 minutes in the first two periods. So what I'll say is, Philip Hedl being in the lineup, it makes the Rangers better. That's no slight to Rempe. It's not meant to be that way. But I wouldn't hate if Game 3 is the time when they do it, but I don't think they will because you don't want to mess with the formula. And I do understand that as well. I do. Would I prefer them to make the switch? I would. And maybe doing it on the road is a better thing to do because I know, with Rempe, and even though, let's be honest, Philip Hedl coming back out there at the Garden, the place would be going nuts. So in either situation, it would bring some juice to the fans. But we know, Rempe and in those home games. But you also got to consider the opponent. And against Carolina, it just doesn't make as much sense to have Rempe in there. Whereas versus Washington, I get it more in their style of play. But we're going to see Hedl at some point, likely for Rempe. But when? But it's a good problem to have. It's a very good problem to have because of the fact that, hey, Rangers are winning these games without Philip Hedl. And so, not going to complain about it, but I do think that I'd like to see the switch made a little bit sooner than later. So, but yeah, let me discuss some individuals as much as I can. Let's start actually with, and again, Igor was, there's no words. He was just otherworldly, that good. And when Shesterkin is on like that, the Rangers are so tough to beat. So let's talk defense. I guess we'll go pair by pair. Let's do it that way. Lindgren, Fox, don't have a whole lot to say there. Lindgren actually made a really good play, I think, when the Rangers were down 3-2 of preventing a goal. I think Carolina, and that was the key too. Igor made a lot of big saves, and there was some luck involved. Well, there was a post, I think, from Svechnikov. When the Rangers were down 2-1 and 3-2. If this becomes a 2-goal game, the whole thing could be different. And so, the fact they were able to keep it, that was big. As far as Adam Fox is concerned, Fox, who played 33 minutes and 36 seconds, he's definitely hurt. He's definitely playing hurt. He made a beautiful pass on Lafreniere's second goal, just a gorgeous pass by Fox. So it's not as if the skills aren't there, but there's something off with Fox. Definitely. And look, the Orlov goal, the goal that made it 2-1 Carolina, Fox was kind of late to get to him, and you would have liked him to maybe at least maybe tried to get a stick up or something to prevent the tip-in from Orlov. But anyway, Fox, he's been playing, but I've noticed that on the first power play unit, he'll go off and Gustafsson will go on, and no one else will change. They'll just make one change. They're trying to somehow monitor his minutes at times, and that's where, if you can somehow get out of the series on the sooner end, which, look, that, even saying that out loud just sounds not right, but if you somehow can, that will be really big to get Fox, some rest. Because I think out of everyone, it feels like he is the most hurt. Miller Schneider thought they were mostly good. Braden Schneider, I thought, had a really strong game. And thank God for Schneider, elevating his game. And I'll tell you why in a moment. But I thought Braden Schneider was a lot better in Game 2 than Game 1. Keandre Miller, solid. I didn't love on that first Gensel goal. I thought Keandre could have been a little bit stronger and, similar to Fox, different type plays, but I wish that Keandre maybe could have, been more on Gensel and not made it so easy for him to deflect that. But still, overall, really, that pair, it's been so good. And they've played key minutes. And yeah, so, nothing really too bad to say about them. And now Gustafsson, Trouba. And this is more direct towards Trouba, although Gustafsson is kind of, guilty by association, and a lot of it has to do with Trouba. Gustafsson, I think his playoffs have been pretty good, and he's someone who I was kind of a little bit skeptical on. I think he's done a nice job. We know that there's some deficiencies to his game, but look, for a third pair defenseman, he is such an upgrade over some of the other players in that position in recent years. So, not going to make this all about Gustafsson, but my boy Jacob Trouba, I say that sarcastically. Wow, was he fucking awful. What did he take? 3 penalties, and he got lucky. 2 of them, where what happened was Carolina ends up taking a penalty immediately after one of Trouba's, then a little bit further after Trouba's penalty. And then, he takes a penalty in overtime, I believe, and he also causes Panarin to have to take a hooking penalty in double overtime because he just has a ridiculous pinch that made no sense. And that's just the start of it. The one thing that I'll give him true credit for is in the third period, he did a nice job of keeping the puck in, which led to a penalty where Will Cooley was tripped. So that was legitimate, and it led to Kreider getting a power play goal to tie it. So, and Trouba did have a nice pass to Zibanejad. So, it wasn't all bad for Trouba, but it was very, very bad. It's scary with him out there. I think that if the Rangers are to not reach the promised land, one of the reasons, you already know it almost happened tonight, is Trouba. It's scary with him out there. The decision-making, just the lack of speed, it's bad. It's really, really, really bad. I can't say it enough. And tonight it was brutal watching him. So, this is a mostly positive episode, but wow. And there's nothing and the thing is, nothing will be done about it. It's just what it is. He's going to be in the lineup. He's not going to be taken out. He's already technically on the third defensive pair, but really, it's somewhat misleading. He still gets key minutes. It's not really, he doesn't get third pair minutes. He gets a lot more than that. So, he's even on the fucking second power play unit. How? How does that happen? So anyway, there's that. Now let's talk about the forwards. The forwards, first line I thought was, even though the plus minus ends up not being so great in the case of Zibanejad and Kreider, it isn't. But Jack Roslovic, he's had a lot of jump, playing with a lot of speed. He had a really good chance 2-on-1 in overtime, and Anderson made the stop. But I like how Roslovic's been playing. Someone who, it wasn't so great for a lot of the regular season. I think he's been a definite bright spot and has been noticeable. So Roslovic, I thought, was good. Wasn't one of Zibanejad. For Zibanejad has been so good, obviously, in this postseason. We've talked about that at length. It wasn't a great game for Mika. He ends up getting a primary assist on the game-winning goal, but, left a little bit to be desired. What I like to see here is it looks like 64% of the face-off dot, which is nice, considering that Trocheck, and this must have been a lot against Jordan Staal. Jordan Staal, if there's one person that's better than Trocheck at face-offs, it's Staal, although Staal's numbers aren't that great either. But anyway, yeah, the Rangers kind of got better as in faces as the game went along. They weren't so good early on. But anyway, Mika, not his strongest game. And then for Kreider, I guess somewhat along the same lines, but his plus minus, that -3, it's a bit misleading for Kreider. He did a lot of again, Kreider's did a lot of little things were done that were good on both of those power play goals, the tying one and the winning one. They both really came up big there. So, yeah, I thought that line was fine. They weren't bad, for sure. Probably the best line was I guess I'd say it was the best line. The Panarin, Trocheck, Lafrenière line. And Lafrenière being the big one with 2 goals was, really, really on his game, playing with speed, playing with confidence. We're watching, a player blossom. And, we've talked about it all year. It's kind of funny. Trocheck, before he got that game-winning goal, he wasn't like Trocheck is so valuable. And to be honest, he's a bargain. Like this contract, total bargain. To go from Ryan Strome to Trocheck is one of the greatest things that could have ever happened. And I knew it then, but it's even been better than I could have ever expected. And for Carolina to be the one to let him walk, that's got to be eating them up alive. The front office, Rod Brind'Amour, for them to see how this is playing out, it's got to be killing them. So, and then Panarin, he ends up with 3 points. And it's funny, there's still more to be had there, but the results are there. So, look, I'm not going to really complain about Panarin, even though, it still feels like there's something missing. There's turnovers, but, there's still a lot of big plays being made at key times. So, not going to even go there. Third line, not as good as it was last game. Still, Wenberg, I think it's been a much stronger series for Wenberg. He really did a nice job in that first goal for the Rangers, the first Lafrenière goal. I thought Wenberg did a nice job there. Will Cooley's kind of done his thing, and he drew a penalty. Kakko, really disappointing. Being there, just didn't provide a whole lot, really. We know he's not the fastest of skaters, but he can't really control the puck. He's not controlling the puck all that well. He's just not playing. I'm not seeing a whole lot of confidence. I'm not seeing a whole lot of aggression. And again, that was just from where if I watched it on TV, maybe I would have thought differently. But just watching him at the game, didn't love what I saw from Kakko. Want a little bit more from him. And then the fourth line, look, key minutes for sure for Goodrow and Vesey. And that's, I think, as best as I could say. And look, it was constant rotation because Rempe wasn't really in there, so they were always rotating someone with them. But they logged key minutes if nothing else. I didn't think that they were great, but they did what they had to do. So all right, let's go through the game. That was definitely a longer sort of summary than normal, much longer. But this is an exciting win. I went to the game, so it all makes sense. But first period, Will Cooley is called for a goalie interference. I thought the officiating is always going to be questions asked. I thought the officiating wasn't horrible. I thought overall, I don't know, maybe Hurricane fans, are they maybe upset at that last call on Brady Shea? I guess, but that was a pretty strong cross-check, and they were calling that earlier in the game. So, again, I haven't really looked into, what the Hurricane fans are saying, but anyway, Cooley goal interference and the Rangers special teams again was key, but especially the penalty kill. And keep in mind, some of these numbers are skewed because there were situations where there were very short power plays. So take it with a little bit of a grain of salt, but it ends up where Carolina's 0 for 5 and the Rangers are 2 for 7. But the Rangers special teams does it again. And I said going into the series, seeing it from a Rangers side, I felt good about that. I love how the penalty kill has been. The power play has been, consistently good. And I know Carolina has, the stats back it up. Great power play, great penalty kill, but just the Rangers seem so strong. And it proved itself again. That penalty kill, I cannot say enough about what they've done, Igor included. So Cooley goal interference, Rangers kill it off. And then we get the first goal of the game. It's Lafrenière. His first of the playoffs from Miller and Wenberg at 10:53. So Wenberg does a nice job of kind of getting in there, good control of the puck, makes a few moves. Keandre Miller takes a shot. It's blocked. It goes to Lafrenière, and he snaps it past Anderson. I don't know if Anderson saw it. Wenberg provided a screen. I don't know if he got it. It was a really nice shot by Lafrenière. You saw there was room there. Anderson was kind of a little bit far out, and Lafrenière looked like he has good accuracy. Not everyone could have scored that goal, but Lafrenière is able to do so, and the Rangers take a 1-0 lead. Then at 12:05, Svechnikov trips Shesterkin. That was rough. Igor, luckily he was okay. Igor was not happy. Igor, and you love that. You love the fire out of Igor. He gets upset, when someone, runs into him or whatever, he doesn't take shit. But the Rangers don't make Carolina pay there. So that was the first instance where the Rangers don't score on the power play of the series. And then at 15:07, Carolina ties it up. It's Jake Gensel scoring a second goal of the playoffs from Aho and Svechnikov. Aho was really good in this. Gensel and Aho. Gensel is the one reason why I would have concern. That's a big-time acquisition. Like, that is someone that is a difference maker for Carolina legitimately. Like, he definitely adds a lot more skill. He brings you really just about everything. And I don't like him. He's killed the Rangers. And I'll talk about a penalty he took that was just ridiculous. But Gensel, it's a tip-in goal. They had some decent zone time, and Aho takes the shot, and Gensel deflects it in. And Keandre Miller was in the area, but just wasn't close enough, and it ties it up at 1. Then at 1909, a couple of penalties. Originally, it was just going to be Barclay Goodrow for cross-check and Kotkaniemi, but then Nason high sticks Miller. So it ends up being 4-on-4, and this ends up working out to Carolina's advantage. A really tough goal to give up with about 5 seconds left in the first. It's a goal by Dmitry Orlov, the second goal of the playoffs from Shea and Aho. And so Aho ended up with, if I hadn't mentioned it just before, Aho ended up with 3 assists on the night. But yeah, shot by Shea from the point that Orlov also, like Gensel, tips in, and Orlov kind of beats Adam Fox. Fox just kind of loses him briefly. That's a really big goal for Carolina, make it 2-1. And then in the second period, they had chances to make it 3-1. They really, really did. But whether it was Igor saves or off the crossbar, whatever you want to say, they didn't get it done. At 2:14, Jacob Trouba high sticks Jack Drury. But then 2 seconds later, it's Svechnikov who interferes with Adam Fox. So Svechnikov, he was also guilty of this in Game 1, where Trocheck delayed a game penalty, and then Svechnikov took down Lindgren. So it's 4-on-4 again for a while. No one scores there, but then the Rangers tie it up at 7:32. Lafrenière scores the second of the night from Fox and Panarin. Just an amazing goal, beautiful goal, odd man rush type situation. Lafrenière began it. Then it went to Trocheck, then Panarin, shows some patience, moves to the middle of the ice, drops it off to Fox. He goes down, and it's kind of somewhat of a mini 2-on-1 with Trocheck kind of setting a little bit of a pick. And Fox finds Lafrenière, just a gorgeous goal, ties it up at 2. And then as we move along, another Trouba penalty at 8:56. He trips Kotkaniemi. And then at 9:47, during that kill, Jake Gensel, after a whistle, loses his cool, punches Fox in the face, and he's called for roughing. Just a really dumb penalty by Gensel. No goals are scored there. But Carolina takes the lead again. At 18:18, Gensel scores his second of the night, third of the playoffs from Aho and D'Angelo. And it's a Jacob Trouba turnover that leads to this. A really, really bad play by Trouba. D'Angelo intercepts it at center ice. Then Carolina goes to work. Aho cross-ice pass to Gensel. And I think Gensel might have been Kreider on that play. And Gensel just rips it by Shesterkin. And it gives the Hurricanes another lead, 3-2 lead. So this is the first time in the playoffs the Rangers have been trailing after a period. That had not happened yet. And so they trailed at the first and trailed it to the second. But we know that the Rangers, they always come back. That's what they do. And a lot in the third period. So third period, at 5:22, Orlov trips Cooley. And this was the play I was talking about where Trouba does a nice job keeping the puck in. And the Rangers tied up. It's Kreider. The power play goal is third of the playoffs from Trocheck and Panarin. So this is a play where Panarin does a nice job of kind of throwing it, of kind of making a little bit of a kind of throws his stick at the puck. He knew what he was doing. He finds Trocheck alone. And it's a save by Anderson, but he doesn't know where it is. It's loose. And I think it was Aho that was trying to get it out of there, but it goes right on the tape of Kreider, who just puts it right in. So a classic power play Kreider goal ties it up at 3, and the Garden's going nuts at that point. And then the Rangers have a couple of power plays, with a chance to win it, and don't do so. At 9:54, Martinuk trips Gustafsson. Rangers don't score there. Then at 18:22, Brady Shea trips Alex Wenberg, and on this one, Carolina was the team that had much better chances. Zibanejad turns it over. It's a 2-on-1 with Jordan Staal and Seth Jarvis, but I think Fox was the only one back. And it was a great setup by Staal to Jarvis. Unbelievable save by Shesterkin. Then again, I forget who was involved in this one. I think Chatfield might have been involved, at least on part of this. There was another really big opportunity for Carolina. So that got scary where it goes from, you think, all right, Ranger power play, and Carolina almost scored shorthanded, but we go to overtime, the first overtime. And I kind of feel like the Rangers in some ways are somewhat playing better as time is going on. Maybe not by leaps and bounds, but I thought that they were, doing well enough. But both teams I thought Aho was really dangerous for Carolina in the overtime, and Igor was not going to lose this game, plain and simple. At 7:57 of the first overtime, Trouba trips Marty Necas. Yeah, again, Trouba was doing everything he could to lose this game, but the Rangers kill it off. We go to the second overtime, and in the first overtime, like Jack Roslovic, I'd say, had the best opportunity on that 2-on-1. He had Kreider on the left side, but he decides to shoot it and was stopped by Anderson. Some other opportunities for that line as well. And that was the Trouba pass to Zibanejad, stopped by Anderson. We go to the second overtime. At 3:28, Panarin hooks Marty Necas. He kind of had to, again, Trouba with a really reckless, pinch, and Panarin kind of had to do it to prevent what would have been a really good scoring chance. Rangers kill it off, though, like just again in crucial moments, 2 huge kills in overtime. And then the Rangers get their power play. Brady Shea cross-checks Vincent Trocheck at 6:37. So the former Ranger Shea cross-checks the former Hurricane Trocheck, and those two were teammates on Carolina. And this all starts, no one's really talking about this. Igor makes a really nice pass to Zibanejad to get this going. And Kreider does a nice job of kind of sort of a turnover, but like he was able to, like Carolina was looking to clear the puck, and Kreider was kind of in the way and sets up Panarin for a shot. It goes to the corner. Zibanejad doesn't get like great wood on it, and he kind of, I wouldn't say flubs it, but he throws it towards the net. And it goes off, the puck like goes off of Anderson, then it goes off of Brent Burns, and Vincent Trocheck's right there and puts it in 5-hole past Freddie Anderson. Trocheck goes nuts. It's his 5th goal of the playoffs from Zibanejad and Panarin. And MSG was just raucous. It was amazing. They win it in double overtime, 4-3. A huge, huge win for the Rangers. Because if this is 1-1, I think you're automatically looking at a series that is destined to go maybe all the way to 7. Now, it still might be the case, but maybe not, depending on the Rangers doing Carolina. So just a huge swing game that the Rangers are able to win. Just the stick-to-itiveness and gutsy, and the Rangers, they just find ways. They always have different tricks up their sleeve, it feels like. They're versatile in that way, in different ways of winning. So now we'll see what happens. They take a 2-0 lead in the series. It'll be a different beast in Carolina. And there will be tons of Ranger fans there. And I know that'll be important. There will be. So I don't mean to discount that because that's important. But Carolina's going to be coming out strong Thursday. You just know it. And no pun intended, can the Rangers weather the storm? But so far, so good. The first 2 games in Madison Square Garden go the Rangers' way. Igor, amazing, 54 saves. Alexis Lafrenière gets on the board with a couple of goals. And Vinny Trocheck, it's got to feel good for him. I don't know how Carolina didn't do everything in their power to keep him, but it's the Rangers' benefit. He wins it in double overtime to give the Rangers a 4-3 win and a 2-0 series lead.